I was watching a Joe Rogan interview with a Palmer Luckey. I think that's how you say his last name. This is the guy who created the Oculus that sold to Facebook, billionaire. Turns out, super based, really interesting, fascinating interview. But he said something very interesting that I thought was hilarious, and I had to look into it more.
Have you heard of this?
The nostalgia is fascist?
Nostalgia is fascist. If you Google it, you look up nostalgia is fascist, you will find this is like this is like a cutting edge theory of the last year. They're saying, oh, all this appeal to the 90s, it's pro-fascist because they're trying to make you believe that there was a better time, to believe that going backwards in society is a good thing, as if the 1990s were like some like hotbed of injustice and oppression.
Yes, nostalgia is fascism. 90s, reminiscence of the 90s, fascism. Of course, it's really just make America great again, and we know how the left loves that phrase.
Old enough to remember the good old days, and they weren't all that good in many ways. That message, I'll give you America great again, is if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down. What Hillary wants to do is take the totem pole down and let us all go forward together.
That's some communist BS right there. Did you notice how he didn't say make America great again? He was like, I'll give you the America great again, because he knew that he couldn't say it, because then they would have the soundbite of him saying it. But actually, in his presidential run in 92, he says this.
I ask you to join with us today, to give me your hands and your hearts, to give me your prayers and your help. I believe that together we can make America great again.
Oh, snaps. Well, which is it? Are you trying to make white Southerners on top of the totem pole again? Make America great again is the 90s. This is when all the movies had natural diversity because they were based on good actors and comedies or comedians that were able to make people laugh based on their comedy. You know what I mean? Eddie Murphy, for example, killing it in the comedy scene. Great movies. I remember Golden Child. That was, I think, one of the first ones that I saw with Eddie Murphy. Coming to America. There's so many great movies from that era that it wasn't about race, and yet there was naturally diversity because it was about merit. And as I truly believe, and I think most people who say make America great again believe that anyone can achieve greatness. It takes merit. It takes character. And going back to that era of judging people based on their character, right? Isn't that the whole Martin Luther King, I have a dream that they'd be judged not on the color of their skin, but the content of the character? I'm probably butchering the quote, but yeah, that's what make America great again is to me. Oh, there's a lot more involved though. Of course, end the Fed, end fiat currency, make sure that we have individual sovereignty, give us our rights back, overthrow the National Defense Authorization Act, get rid of the Patriot Act. There's plenty of things that America has done that is taking away the individual's rights, and I think that's wrong. America's still the greatest country ever made. Let's get into some more of the nostalgia examples. The first one that, of course, popped up when I was looking, 90s kids, pseudo-nostalgia is Fisher-Price fascism. Fisher-Price fascism. Yeah, these... what is it? There's a term that I'm looking for. It's like art student activists, or that's what this screams to me. Their parents are rich. They hate their parents, so they're trying to be different. I don't know. This is the medium. So, you know what? It's not worth reading because it's them complaining about their 13-year-old nephew who's just got all these questions about the 90s, which makes sense because the 90s were a very interesting time. It was this transition period between no internet, no smartphones, and the internet coming in and taking over. I mean, I remember that going to concerts when I was younger when no one had phones at all. It was awesome. I remember going to Lollapalooza in Chicago, Incubus, Jurassic 5. I don't remember who else was there because I was there for Incubus. They were like my band back then. And no one had smartphones. It was awesome. You really felt the moment. I saw Page and Plant in Philadelphia in 1997. Aerosmith in 1998, also Philadelphia. All these bands, I remember it being just surrounded by people just embracing the music for what it was. It was an incredible time. And that doesn't exist anymore. You see concerts nowadays, and it's just 1,000 phones up in the air. I went and saw Tool in February of 2020, and they actually banned phones. You could have them on you, but if they saw anyone with a phone out, you were kicked out, no question. You were removed from the concert. You weren't allowed to take pictures. I did sneak one. Don't tell them. I mean, it's a little late. I don't think I even looked at that picture since because I took one just to like remember that moment, but it felt wrong and I didn't, it meant nothing because it was like I was enjoying the show. It was an awesome show, by the way. They were incredible live. To defeat fascism, we must reject nostalgia. God, these people think they're so cool. That's the thing about these people. They think they're cool. Nostalgia has played no small part in bringing us to our current moment. That doesn't make any sense. The past has brought us here. They get worse and worse. The more you look at these articles, the worse they get. Look at this next one. Fascism, nostalgia, and history. Morning, comrades. A comrade in Bulgaria reached out to me a little while ago to better help me understand the increasing right-wing move of their governments in relation to their increasing oppressive LGBTQ plus laws. What do you mean? You're not allowed to show porn in schools? This reminds me of like the Don't Say Gay bill. Don't say gay. What's that actor's name? Let me know in the comments. I can't think of his name. He Ron Perlman. Is that it? Is that the guy? Yeah, that's the guy. Anyway, countless times they will not know what they're talking about. Hear about what it's supposed to be on TikTok and then rage and make all these so Don't Say Gay bill was just about teachers aren't allowed to teach gender ideology in schools and show those porn books that they were showing. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's good. Schools should be teaching math and science and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not like indoctrinating the children with what you think is important. Like that's wrong. These people think they're morally superior and try to inject what they think other people should do into literally everything, right? I mean, movies, culture, video games, name something. It's the past 10 years. If you've been alive, you'll know exactly what I am talking about. And then we have The Lord of the Rings. Reading The Lord of the Rings in 1984 could lead to right-wing extremism. Oh boy. Yeah. We don't need to dig into this. According to Nerdrotic, this has something to do with some fascist summer camp in Italy that a Tolkien fan went to once. And then they pretty much every year this comes about. There's always someone who's like, oh, I've got the connection. Haha, Lord of the Rings is fascist. Or they are comparing orcs to black people, which that's not the fans of Lord of the Rings. That's the racists that are going, wow, how dare they treat the orcs as the bad guys? Oh, how racist is that? They're telling on themselves. These people have zero self-awareness skills. Seriously, absolutely none. Make America great again. If you're against that, you're against making America great, period. Hillary Clinton herself, in an article that she wrote for Foreign Affairs magazine, she herself actually ended it. Here we go. The very last sentence. If we can live up to that idea, we can exercise our power wisely and well, and we can make America great again. Even Hillary Clinton used this line, make America great again. These people here, to defeat fascism, we must reject nostalgia. Obviously, they go back and talk about that. To point out the obvious, you can see the sense of nostalgia in Trump campaign slogan, make America great again. It doesn't matter that that again part leaves it ambiguous as to which era exactly they wish to return. See, they can't comprehend that it's not an era. It's not saying like, I want to go back to Jim Crow. I want to go back to like slavery. No, these people want to be victims so much. They're desperate to try to make Trump the villain and be a victim of oppression somehow. It's like, no. A merit-based society, they're going to feel like victims still because they can't make it on their merits. That's why they want affirmative action. That's why they want this buffer, this DEI, like everyone should be on the same playing field. And in fact, it's interesting because in that quote from Bill Clinton, he said, oh, well, Trump's trying to bring everyone up to the top, the white people up to the top, which of course is bullshit because Trump is an equal opportunity employer. He's merit based. And for someone who only sees race, if he hires a bunch of white people because they're the best for the job, he's suddenly racist. But he's hired women. His first major project in New York City, he hired a woman and was ridiculed by other people around him. I don't remember the name, but she's the one who did Trump Tower in Manhattan when he first in 79. You know, it's like, oh, misogyny. Well, actually, you know, she was the best person for the job and the building still looks great. And it was one of the few that had trees going. It was a green, way ahead of its time. I am so sick of these people, man. They're just so delusional. They just want to be victims. And this is what I say. Being a victim happens, but choosing to remain a victim, that's on you. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you making it this far into the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please like the video and share if you enjoyed and want others to see it as well. It really helps me out. Join me on my live shows. It's every Monday night called Bay Staff Monday. I have a few different friends join me and we have great conversations about things that are happening. I try to do interviews every Wednesday, and Friday nights I jam and play music, all original. Of course, I do some covers sometimes, and really appreciate you hanging out. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.